wearing a white shirt.
I am.
You look clean as shit.
You're not wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Muscles exposed.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Hello, everybody. It is the middle of October.
You are stoked. I like this. Halloween spirit coming through.
Hello, everyone. It is October what? What's the date?
16th.
October 16th. You are with the Pacific Experience Podcast, and we are with you. This is episode 24. I am your host, Lloyd.
I'm Austin. Sorry. I'm Austin. I'm still Austin. I'm still here.
Anywho, I think Austin's a little taken back by my energy.
Oh, I love it. It was a long day at work, so yeah, it like helps rejuvenate to come into this because I was very excited for this.
It was. It truly was a long
It's
day
my
at
favorite
work.
thing. Every single week is coming here on Tuesdays.
Hell yeah, man.
Doing Pacific Experience.
Why is that?
It's me hard.
Wow.
No, yeah, it's
That
fun.
got weird.
It's a did it, or is it what everybody else is feeling? No,
possibly.
it's refreshing to sit and talk,
Yeah.
like actual substance things. You know, not rhetoric of like, "How's your day going?" Like, "Hey, coworkers,
Yeah.
what have you been doing in the past 24 hours?" And you see those people 7 days a week. That gets very brain draining.
Yeah, man. I mean, you think about it now. We have like multiple personalities. Everyone. I mean, think about it. You have your technological personality, your social media person. You have your work person. Let's all admit it. You have your family person when you're visiting your family that you don't live with, and then you have your home self. And then if you ever
The person that you actually are.
yeah, the person who you are, and when our home self, that person usually conversates with the same people over and over. Which is
Birds of a
family
feather
or
flock together.
Roommates or something like that, So
Yeah.
it's nice to be able to open a beer and actually have a real conversation about some shit.
Yes, seriously.
Yeah.
And it is a point to keep those people. That's probably the biggest thing I learned getting out of high school.
Yeah.
Is that when you're forced to be around a bunch of people. I mean, you're in a school filled with hundreds of kids that you see every single day, 365 days a year.
I was just
practically.
thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the real world hits, and you go off to college, but you start doing things, and the people. It's not saying that. Well, one, friendships do diminish, but you start to value the friendships that were really valuable, and the people that are meant to be in your life stay in your life, or like they understand that give and go. So, I mean, for you went off and did your own thing for a little bit,
Yeah.
and I kept in contact with you as much as I could. But that was one thing too. Is like there's plenty of times where I was busy, but you would contact me. And that's something maybe we talked about early on. Is that when I first came back to the harbor and you were here, what we would do, we'd just like go hang out.
Yeah.
We'd talk in the mornings, go get coffee and breakfast. We'd play
Battlefield,
and I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs. But
you used to come over every what was it, Sunday?
yeah, Saturday or Sunday a weekend.
Saturday or Sunday, and we would make breakfast and just get fucking blazed, dude.
Yeah, I was going to say it out loud, but yeah, we smoked a lot of pot. For sure, that was like the best.
Yeah.
I brought over some 550 cord, and you're like, dude, I'm going to take this 550 cord and throw it on my balcony. I will sling my body over it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is like 15. I bet it could, Lloyd. You're right. I bet it could, but let's not try it. But you had one leg over. You're like, John, dude, just tie it around my waist. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude, we did all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah,
man.
we did a lot of.
We sacrificed our bodies for the sake of like
enjoyment.
Yeah,
and it was
for
great.
fun. Yeah,
I think about.
Totally.
Do you remember when like Hayden's Point? We go there a lot. Do you remember bringing Krista and Jasmine? Jasmine almost fell down the embankment.
What? I don't remember this.
Yeah, there was that time where you brought Krista and Jasmine, and we were going back up. And remember, because it's weird because it's somewhat of a trail, but then it goes along that cliffside towards that tree and that outcropping where the rope swing goes. But going back up.
How do I not remember this?
Oh, dude, I just remember because we were going up there, and it was Krista went first, and then Jasmine, and then you, and she was sort of like, she was going up straight, but she was sort of like zigzagging, and that's like a cliffside, so there's like just ferns and grass.
Yeah.
Or bushes, I should say, and she just started to fall, and I just remember you flat out, like dove and just grabbed her by the back of your hood. It was right next to those two trees.
Now.
Yeah, dude, it was good, but I was just like, oh,
that all came back.
That's
to me.
that's some fatherly love right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was like, yeah, dude.
Little butthole
got-
tightening, just. Oh, okay.
Oh shit!
Yeah, all right. Totally killed my high, but I'm gonna go smoke in the car anyway. So.
Yeah, dude. Man, we've done so much crazy shit around here. I mean, in the PNW, it's so hard not to.
Oh, when you have the chance to go out to parks, get outside, and have campfires and just smoke, drink, or like just do whatever it's be. I mean, smoking and drinking doesn't have to be the point, but that usually just helps the atmosphere of it when you're just trying to chill out and talk with people.
Yeah.
But for sure, like all the parks that we have around here, so Sunrise Park, Narrows Park, Hopachup State Park. I mean, all those places, there's trails to go and run and sit and have a beach and forest and just be by yourself for sure.
Yeah, man, and it's the being by yourself which does so much. I mean, I think it'd be hard to sum up what being by yourself does in one statement.
Yeah.
But it's something that I look forward to doing like more and more, and it's just something that I value more as I get older. Because like the younger I was,
like
the more
alone
I
time.
did not want to be alone.
Yeah.
I had to be out doing something, being with people. Gosh, I mean, now I love having those moments of alone time. Not so much alone time, but quiet time, especially. Speaking of quiet time, and actually not speaking of, what are you drinking?
Drinking the Miller High Life, the champagne of beers.
The champagne of beers again.
Yes, you gotta raise it up. So it was something I was talking to my coworker today, but as I listen to these podcasts, and it makes us better, which is nice because it's like good criticism, and I enjoy it, dude. I enjoy listening to what we talk about. I've definitely listened and followed myself and tried to critique and work on my sort of like dialogue and not repeating the same sort of sayings. But I also noticed too that early on, drinking IPAs and getting fucked up, you just sound so dumb.
Yeah.
It just sounds stupid. You start you say a point and then you're just like, yeah, man. And then like literally 5 or 6 minutes later, you're reiterating the same point, just like repeating it. You're just like, oh, how drunk? What the fuck was I doing? Oh, that's right. I was drinking a bunch of double IPAs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
That's what happens, man, when you do it. I mean, I have to apologize. Last episode, I definitely had an IPA for the first time in 15 or 20 episodes, and then
it wasn't
it
wasn't at all you. It was just funny to see the progression, and that's why I've started like toning it back because I want to be here for this. If I wanted to get drunk, I can be drunk and talk silly to myself all I fucking want in my own room. Like,
I do it all the time.
Watching YouTube videos to be like, hey, what a loser. Or like, oh, this guy thinks the Twin Towers wasn't a conspiracy. Like, all right, sir, let me just hop on my keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that sort of thing.
Well, do you know of any updates or news going on up here in the PNW?
It's odd to say because it's been on my mind, and it's not necessarily news, but it's a topic that I think we're all used to.
Give it to me.
Give it to him.
Yeah. What is it? What do you got?
Lloyd and I went to high school together. Fun fact.
He's lying.
Yeah.
I didn't go to high school.
We were homeschooled, separate homeschools deep in the Yelm Woods.
Where'd you get that from?
Made it up. But
sorry. Anyways, yeah.
So one thing I've been thinking a little bit about lately is just our friend Peter. Mainly because this year is the 9-year anniversary of when Peter left. So
that's right.
A very quick, and mainly because also it's somebody else's story. Like we were a part of it, but not to talk about somebody else's family and their story. But so Peter was in our grade in high school, and many of us knew him, whether through middle school to high school. But the Haas family was well known for us in high school, and it was just weird because like I don't necessarily get sad anymore. I guess I almost like miss and wonder what he would have grown up and been like, or where he would be now. Yeah. Would we still be friends? Because as we've gone older, you see a lot, like I was saying, like a lot of those high school friends and whatnot. Yeah, they're no longer there.
There's a lot of change.
A lot of it. But so Peter, what was interesting to me is that for me it was the first like actual death I had to personally experience. So Peter on October 12th went missing. Was just not like the official consensus, but like a lot of his friends were like, "Hey, have you seen Peter after school?" We hadn't seen him after school. And then the next following day, we found out that he had passed away. And so it was really weird and surreal. This was our senior year to go to school, and in less than 24 hours, somebody that you knew personally, and especially, I would say you, close friends like Brian, Scott, Andrea Bell, Alex, Dylan, all these people that were really close to him, whether it was through just friendship, sports. He touched a lot of people. And it was really interesting to see the next day the impact. And I think that's one thing that I definitely took away from it that gave me a good perception on life, on like not only being a good person, but seeing when you care for other people beyond yourself, how much of a ripple effect that really does have. Because there was a lot of people, regardless of like if they were distraught in school or whatnot, but like I remember going to the memorial down in Jerusich, but there was hundreds of kids there.
Yeah, man, that was amazing.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
Hundreds
of kids down there surrounding the
little
flag.
The
flag in the middle of the field, and everyone.
Yeah.
And some people had candles.
Yeah,
and it wasn't necessarily like a big giant, sad thing. Everyone was positive and sad. People were laughing, telling stories, and sad that he wasn't there. And for everyone, for a whole community, and Austin's not lying, of over 100 people to meet up like that, and you could just emotionally feel the vibes entering that that radius. That's powerful, man. I've never experienced something like that before, and honestly, since it's happened, I haven't experienced it again. That was very special.
Yeah, and it's like that's what's been most interesting to see after the fact of like just seeing that impact and having that come about. And it's like over the years, like you don't ever forget the people, but they're no longer on the forefront of your mind constantly of like, oh, this day is coming up. It's more so like when this day happens, I just remind myself like, oh yeah, like where would he be now? Like what would he be doing? And I just think about, but regardless, the point is that it was really the first time to experience it, and it was a really, like, it's a shitty lesson, but it was a really good lesson. It taught me a lot of value in terms of life and in terms of relationships. And I guess a small message to anybody having, like, depressive or suicidal thoughts or whatnot, please, like, talk to somebody close. If you can't, go call the suicide hotline. I don't have the number in front of me, but really, I think it's one thing as I go through, and what's weird is that the place we went to school, which is a very rich white community, there's quite a few people that have taken their own lives since then. And you just really start to think, like, is it from, like, a stigma, from, like, how people treat other people? And that's one thing that made me think about, like, surviving high school and middle school, like, but all this, it's really brutal. Like, people don't understand what the fuck they're saying. And it can be
true.
It can be very hurtful, and it changes people's lives. Even if they don't, do something drastic like that, you can seriously alter someone's life to do a totally different path than maybe what they are meant to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think about the kids got picked on all the time, and sometimes some of those kids I see, they're just alcoholics, they're drug addicts, they're just, and you just think like, wow, dude, did all those things all those kids said every single day for 4 years straight that they had to fucking see them, did that really lead them on this path? So don't start this off on a depressive note, but it is something to think about, that, like, the things that you say, and it all fucking matters. So, like, more importantly, like, be a good person, value relationships. If you're having problems with this, please talk to somebody, because it's just a matter of getting through day by day by day, because there's always going to be something better. Like, it will
count
fucking
your
pass.
Blessings.
Yep.
Count your blessings. Enjoy the little things like music. Definitely enjoy music. And
Music
enjoy good vibes, great. And dancing, comedy, things like that. The things that are proven to make things better. You know?
Expressive.
One thing to add on to that, and what you were talking about, Peter, and what's talking about what he'd be doing now. I might have told you this story before, but in Mr. Brown's class, and we've talked about Mr. Brown on this podcast
love
before.
Mr. Brown.
Shout out to Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown.
Let's cheers.
Yes, cheers to Mr. Brown.
And by the way, I have a Corona and lime, so that's what we're rocking on tonight's episode. All right, and so we were in Mr. Brown's class, and we each had to do a project. And we had to do a project on what it is we basically were going to be. when we got out of high school. Not when we got out of high school, but when we were gonna grow up. So not
Oh, jeez.
like when you grow up.
When you're gonna grow up. Oh,
When you're a grown up.
That's a vague statement. When you're gonna grow up.
When you're gonna grow up, right? You know, we're doing this project as juniors in high school. You know.
Oh, Jesus.
So. Yeah, so Peter, I went and did my own dumb thing, but what Peter's thing was...
Oh, I'm going to be a jackhammer expert.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to pound concrete till it burns.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
okay,
Lloyd,
anyway.
Wendell's much smarter than that, but sorry, continue. Oh, shit.
I could make a lot of jokes. But I want to get on with the story.
Continue.
But what Peter?
Let's do it, Peter. I'm sorry. So sophomore year, we had to do our like class presentations, and I had Mr. Everett. Remember Mr. Everett, the football coach?
Yeah.
Whatever, like big tubby guy.
Yeah.
Literally, so we could choose whatever we wanted. There was a kid that chose like the history of concrete. That's what it reminded me of.
Oh,
it was the most boring
really?
20-minute.
The history of concrete.
The history of concrete. I can't remember who did it.
Ouch.
I want to say like Mackenzie Dobbins, but like, oh god, yeah, it was a horrific 20 minutes of my life wasted. I can't get back about the history.
Well, anyways, what was much better than that, much more intriguing?
So, Mr. Brown, you guys,
Mr. Brown, it was
you would be when you grow up, or
what you're gonna be,
yeah,
and how and all that shit. It had to be an impressive presentation. Well, Peter went up. Peter, who we're talking about here, and he went up and he was dressed up real nice, as if he was in a suit, but he wasn't. He was actually just wearing black slacks, with a black belt, with a black shirt, no tie. All black, no tie. Very slick. Very slick. Ironically, looked like he was going to a fucking funeral. But he looked very important. Oh, with a big fat watch.
Oh, jeez.
Of course. You know Peter.
Scott, probably.
Yeah, totally.
Totally. Yeah. Give me one of your nice watches.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You know it. Yeah. I bet you the shoes weren't his either.
Biggest, probably shitty grin on his face too.
Yeah, he did. So he was up, and what he said he was going to be, you could tell he was nervous. He walked up, he kind of, swallowed, held his breath, and he put his hands together like a presentation, and he walked around the podium. Everyone talked behind the podium. He walked in front of it.
That's bold.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Peter.
so bold.
That's Peter, man.
Yeah.
He walked in front of it, and he said, "I'm going to be a millionaire."
Wow.
And he was dead serious.
Jeez.
And he said, "I don't know how, but I know I will be." And he explained how he knows he will be. It was very impressive.
That's definitely.
So to answer your question, Austin, right now, our age, I don't know, man, but I bet you
he'd be a millionaire.
I don't know if that's still what he wanted. All I know is he would have what he wanted.
Dude, you wrestled with him. That kid was scrawny as shit.
Scrawny, weak, slow, but a fucking beast.
Yeah,
Mad
that's
respect.
the thing.
Fucking animal.
Absolute, like that underdog attitude.
Such an athlete.
Like
Such
no matter the
hidden
problem,
athlete.
refused to quit.
Yeah, man. Very smart, very wise, very patient. Has lots of balance, lots of stamina, lots of endurance, lots of knowledge and wisdom, for sure. Yeah, you could tell part of it's gifted, and it's up to those hosses, I think, in general, to harness it.
Yeah,
and
I think they just
have
have that mentality. They have that, like, tell me I'm gonna lose, or you don't believe in me, just to give me that. So I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, mad respect. One out to Peter.
Yeah, one out to Peter, man.
One out to Peter.
What do you always say? It's always purple to me.
It's always purple to me.
Yep.
Oh my God, this is all meant to happen. Do you know it's fucked? I swear, man. I was at a store and all I heard was someone say that, and I looked and it was just a customer saying it to a clerk, a store somewhere. It's all purple to me. Anyways, this happened like 3 days ago.
Fuck yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So cheers to that. Cheers to Peter.
Yeah.
Cheers to like doing the things you want to do in life and just keep moving forward. And now we're gonna get on and it wasn't so depressive, but a little bit melancholy. So talk about some real news and shit that's going on. I guess the funniest thing for me is like Kanye West and Trump. They went and meet. The best thing though,
Anyways, over the sad shit.
what's,
Kanye West and Trump.
the best about it, dude.
We can't just pivot from this.
You can, and we will. The best thing I enjoyed about it is that there's a bunch of reporters there, obviously. And Kanye West is entering his phone passcode, and it's a bunch of zeros. It's just 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And oh my dear God, I couldn't believe it. I was just so blown away. And mainly, I just really enjoyed it. That was like beyond what they were fucking talking about. I didn't even watch the whole press. I watched the SNL one, which was much better. If you want to watch the SNL Kanye West and Trump meeting. Because it's Alec Baldwin's fucking funny.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin's funny. I mean, I watched part of the live thing, and I couldn't take any more of it, man. I think anyone who's...
It's nonsense.
I just don't like extreme anything. I don't like
nonsense.
people who are too crazy and... I don't know. I honestly don't even really want to talk about it. But what's going on locally... Hey, so to follow up on the whales...
Do it.
We've talked about the orcas. Did you hear what got passed?
Are they going to get rid of, the lower Snake River dams?
Yeah.
They're going to get rid of those?
They're going to get rid, I think, dude, I could be completely wrong. I don't know where I'm getting this number in my head, but I think the number is 12.
Yeah, so there is a bunch of dams
that are going to be, taken down to provide more Chinook salmon to these orcas out there in Puget Sound. And to catch you up, if you didn't hear that previous episodes, one of these orcas was actually nearly protesting by carrying its dead baby calf on its back for hundreds and hundreds of miles for actually over 10 days after it already passed away. In a sense, protesting to us because the baby calf starved. These orcas have to eat over 400 pounds of salmon each day when they're pregnant, and this is where they come to give birth. There's their birthing grounds up here in the PNW. So, unless we want to, start fucking over them in the ocean somehow, we should stop being a bunch of salmon-eating freaks.
Well, there's a lot. I would say so. People want to talk about because there's two sides to obviously this. So you have to look at dams and what they provide, and dams provide power, hydroelectric power. They provide jobs, but a big thing that dams it's the other side to it. Dams cause a lot of environmental fuckery in terms of like stagnant water. It becomes toxic. The soil becomes so. And then a part of that too was that we have salmon and whatnot. They go up and downstream and come out into the sound for spawning and breeding and just migration. These dams create obstacles so they can't get to those spots. And not only has salmon size decreased in the past 30 years by a huge margin to where they're very small now as opposed to what they used to be, but then that translating to orcas, which it really is known. I mean, we have the Orcas Islands around here, the San Juans.
Right.
It's known for Washington to be able to see orca whales, killer whales.
Absolutely.
And so I think, again, it's not to tie into a bigger issue, but it comes to the surmounting thing of, like, as humans, what are we doing to fuck this environment up for our own cause and at the same time allow it to die? And at what point do we say enough is enough? Last episode we talked about the...
I don't think there is a point, man, because you said it's laziness. And people are loud about it now. As long as the need for money exists, honestly, that's what it all comes. It's all about profit, man. You know what? I've always talked about free energy and not having money or currency and what it would be like. But I had an epiphany the other day to think about it. I mean, think about the villages, back in the medieval times where life is good.
Yeah.
And they're surviving and they're using each other to survive, right? The village. Until one day someone comes and knocks on the door and says, I need tax. If you don't give me tax, you're going to go to jail or we'll kill you. And you pay tax. Ultimately, why do you pay tax? You pay tax so they can protect you from a other tax collector, right? To invade and collect tax from you, aka protection, another clan or another village.
Yeah.
Right? That's really what it comes down to. It's not about religion. It's about money. It's about tax, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's
been a lot
what
of-
holds us to the disgusting ways that we question why we're on this planet and why the way things are. It's all because of currency.
Well, you can even look at it as like progression. I mean, you've talked about Nikola Tesla and energy and all these things. Where
Fuck yeah.
I mean, dude, we have the means to have this happen. But what do you have? You have big businesses with a bunch of fucking money pushing against it to keep it suppressed. To not only that, but like make
That's
it
right.
hard for it to be profitable. And even if it is profitable and it makes sense, they just fight it because those people have a foothold, and it's just like kings and monarchies and all that. It's fucked up. It really is fucked up. I believe that. The fact that we are now getting to a point in our Earth, living on this rock, where people are telling us like we need to greatly reduce these things, or else the planet is going to become inhabitable. Where it becomes a survival thing. We're literally like, it's not like, oh, all the lazy fat people, I'm sorry, lazy fat people, but you're out there, can live alongside people that have the attitude to like take care of their bodies and be able to be survivors. Like, no, like those people will die off. And then the people that are even just trying to survive and will fit and fight, it's going to come down to the strongest of those. We're going to go through a goddamn fucking purge.
You think so?
Oh, I totally believe it. I mean,
yeah.
How can we be so ignorant and make all this money and all these? I was reading this funny article about like, oh, all these billionaires and millionaires have these like post-apocalyptic shelters built up with all this food and seed banks. And it's like, that's not gonna fucking matter if you don't farm ever. Like, that's great. That's fucking great. If these millionaires though stock all this shit up, the world just turns upside down. And you basically have to be like a nomadic tribe, and you have to start planting your crops and hunting your game. What the? You think they're going to be able to fucking do that? If they've never done it before, and then here they are later on in their life, they're like, oh, at least I had the preparation for it. It's like, yeah, dude, then you're going to step out in the wild, and something's just going to kill you, and somebody's going to take your resources. Like, that's exactly what's going to fucking happen.
I mean, what? Okay, so what would you do if shit hits the fan? Where would you go put your bunker?
I wouldn't have a bunker.
Where would you go start?
I would have a tent. I've already. Main thing I would do, and what
I'm already prepared. Yeah. It's actually happening soon.
I'm a native of the Northwest. No, I think first things first. Like you gotta learn basic, outdoor survival skills. So navigation. You gotta learn what plants and berries to fucking eat. Absolutely. I think hunting is a key too. Like you have to learn how to skin and kill game and what to eat and what not to eat and how to process and cook it.
That's what you need to know. You need to know what to eat and what not to eat in reality. That's pretty much the first rule.
So it's just funny to me. It's like that's where I would start. Do I think I could do it? Yeah. Will I be successful at it? I have no fucking clue. But I'm content with that. I'm not banking on my money to fucking save me. I much more rely on myself to take care of myself in a situation of dire need. I mean, it happens all the time. And we live in a world now where the norm for kids our age is to work 2 jobs and go to school full time. That was absurd.
Yeah.
It never happened 40 years ago.
No,
so then when
you
have old timers being like, well, not old timers. Sorry, that's wrong of me to say. But when you have people being like, oh, well, back in my day, it's like, no, not back in your day, because now it's so rapidly changed. Like, there's no way you can work 80 hours.
You might have worked your fucking ass off. That's great for you, but look at this shit now.
Yep. So, I just believe that if we don't help and do the things that we need to do for this planet to be sustainable, we're just going to get turned on our asses.
A lot of shit's going to go down.
Oh, yeah. Black Plague killed, what was it, not 750,000? Was it 3/4 of the population it killed? It killed a huge amount of people.
It was a third.
A third of the population.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
Yeah.
We have billions of people, so the Black Plague came back and killed a third of our population.
Yeah, man. Something else could happen.
That's a lot of people.
I mean, what do you... I mean, I don't know, man. I'm kind of curious to pick people's brains and find out what they think is actually going to happen in the future. I mean, think about it, dude.
But we've become so comfortable, so how can people say that? People have become so comfortable to the comforts of life. I don't think anything's going to
happen, man. I think that the ones who are in control, which is a small percent, the ones who are in control running the fucking shit show,
they're going to take off on spaceships.
All them.
Yeah, George W. Bush, they're all going to take off on spaceships.
Right. I mean, it's either that, and
Bill Cosby.
Then we're either free or fucked. And I don't think it's going to happen that way, man. I think we are an important role. We are a cog in a big machine, and I think we're not even a cog. I think we're just a tiny fucking piece of metal in a giant machine, and I'm talking Earth and humans, and I think that and just go really deep. To be honest,
Get
that
deep in it.
Yeah, I think
Please
it's that
get
deep,
deep
man.
in it.
I think Earth plays a role in something much bigger than that our brains can fathom, and I don't think it's ever going to be fucked because I think it's always going to be maintained because it needs to be fucked in the way that it currently is fucked right now, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's interesting.
I don't think
I'm just content with
I don't
shit
think we'll ever
could
leave Earth.
go wrong, and earthquakes or apocalyptic purges, they could kill me. So I just am content with the fact that I'm going to try and take care of myself the best I can. In
And
any
I
of those
think those can
circumstances.
happen, and they will happen, but I don't think it's going to come down to the 1% begging for mercy on their knees during a volcano. I wish it would, but I don't think it will.
They're going to have volcano suits.
Right. Well,
Well,
whatever.
we're all
Fuck them.
burning like in
Whatever.
Pompeii.
Then a year
They're gonna
later,
have
and
these-
all their food that they don't have anymore is gone, and they're fucking hungry, and you run into one of them, and they're hungry, and you're like stocked up because you have balls to fucking gut down there and get your meat, you know what I mean? And you got your chickens too and all that shit, and he's like hungry, and you're like, no.
And you just gut him up and eat him too.
Oh, that got weird.
Get those genes.
That's right. Anyways, that'd be a good time for a break. We slowed down and got real weird there. Anyways, this is PacX. This is the Pacific Experience
Glad you're
Podcast.
back. This is a good Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's
it
a weird
is.
Tuesday, but it's good. I
It's
like it.
weird. We're psyched. We're pumped. We have some more bullshit coming your way. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 24. You can hit us up on and at PacXpodcast.com. Austin, what's our Instagram?
Experience podcast.
I think. No, it's PacX Pod.
Oh, it's still PacX Pod?
Yeah.
What if I change it? No, yeah.
Change it.
Look at PacX Pod. I'll throw a bunch of bearded selfies up there tonight. I'm gonna shave my beard off and have a mustache.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. I do it every single Halloween.
Yeah.
Mustache Austin. I
Yes.
shoot for the dirty PE teacher because it's the most classic and it's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I grew up with.
Well, you guys heard it. Stay tuned on the Instagram. Check us
See
out on the
it.
website.
Tell me what I should do.
Exactly. We'll be back after the break.
Say that as much as you want, but
What is up, everyone? That's right.
Hello.
Hello, we are back. And if you can hear that, we have a +1 here with us. This is the Pacific Experience Podcast.
Very excited fan.
Yeah.
Sorry to keep her away. She lives.
Yeah.
She lives at your house. She's great though.
Yes. She's still going off. Anyways.
She's number one.
Yep, that's right.
I got things to talk about.
That's right. Yep.
We got cool things.
Yeah.
Now-
That's right. You are number one. She's like panting, like. Anyways.
If you can embody that energy in a drink and give it to adults, oh my god,
No
please
kidding.
do it.
That'd be a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it'd be
Oh my
better
gosh.
than any drug
I-
you could ever find.
I think it is out there called. It's called a
Red
Bang.
Line. Oh, Bang.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
made
terrifying.
by Redline. Yeah, it's made by Redline. Yeah.
Bang is so you've seen it, right? It has like 0 calories, 0 sugar,
Yeah,
0
yeah,
nothing.
The
But
Bang drinks.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it has
dude.
all this other like BCAAs, creatine,
Yeah.
300 milligrams of caffeine, and
Yeah.
it pours clear like water.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
That is.
I don't know who made that. It's made in some secret lab somewhere, and there's no
I-
way the FDA has approved it.
Yeah, yeah. I've drank a couple of them.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
yeah, it does get you jacked, terrifyingly. When I
works.
would drink like a
It
quarter
works.
of one before a workout, and I would be out of my dome. Yeah, just like pumping out 15 reps of something I don't need to do, just like whoa! I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm sweating, having a heart attack, and I'm taking the biggest poop of my life. Yeah, and this is all within the first 10 minutes of working out. It's horrific.
Yeah, dude, I go home, I'm like, I'm going to play some video games! And then I grab the Xbox controller, and I'm like, alright! And then I end up sitting there with the loading screen for 5 minutes, and I'm like, just like a dog at the door, just wanting the game to load, and then as soon as it loads, I realize I've been squeezing the controller super hard the entire
broken.
time, and it's just not
It's
working.
just dust.
And then I'm mad, I'm like,
Your
son of a
hands-
bitch! And then then after that, I turn around, I set the controller down, I go outside, I'm like, I'm gonna mow the lawn!
Yeah.
And then,
With my hands. Just my hands.
yeah! Anyways,
Ripping and tearing.
yeah.
It's a whole lot of ripping and tearing. Yeah, so
We did
don't
not drink any bangs
Bang
just
Energy.
now.
Don't do it.
We just shotgun 3
No
of them.
matter all the Instagram sexy Gymshark models that promote Bang Energy, there's no way they actually do it.
Are there?
It makes you insane. Yeah, it's all over the place. I hate it. I watched a dude deadlift the other day after chugging some of his, and he started bleeding from the nose. So if that's not a warning that you shouldn't have this happen, yeah. Don't do it. All right, so I have something cool because it deals with history.
Austin, what do you got, man?
And I like history. So this was a little bit ago, but it was something that I reminded me of it. So this was on NPR, September 10th. But so there was a bunch of there's hundreds of Roman gold coins were found in a basement. So basically, it was in northern Italy. So long story short, this theater was set to be demolished but slightly restructured for apartments to be built. So they were digging and taking out stuff and making it basically bare bones for the people to come in and do what they needed to do to make the structure for the apartments, buildable, viable, whatever it was.
Right.
But so there was somebody was digging in there and they found a soapstone jar that they called an amphora buried in the dirt, and it had a bunch of Roman gold coins that dated back to the 4th or 5th century just spilling out of it.
To the 4th or 5th. So
Yeah.
that's between Caesar's time.
It's let me.
No, it's not. Never mind. Disregard.
It had the coins have engravings of emperors Honorius, Valentinian III, Leon I, Antonio, and Livio Severo. And they do not go beyond 474 AD.
Okay.
What I just think is
gotcha.
crazy is that, especially, obviously, if just think about if you're able to dig around the artifacts you can unearth that are just pieces of time that you can tell. And so what they were saying is that when they found this jar full of gold coins, they were stacked like a bankroll. So they think regardless,
maybe
if
they had been stacked that way that long ago.
Well, what they think is maybe that somebody was storing them to come dig them up later. So whether the city was getting sieged or burnt down, or there was some sort of thing where they were hiding them, but they were going to find them later. And what's interesting is that reading through this,
that is so cool.
This said the coins have an inestimable value. And so, can you imagine? You're finding hundreds of Roman gold coins that literally, if you wanted to sell them, people are like, we can't even tell you what these would be worth because it's
right.
How?
Yeah, how? That's so rare, man. That's incredible.
And there's been crazy things like that going on, and I'm a huge history buff, so I try to read up on a bunch of these cool unearthings.
Gosh, I wonder
recently,
what those would be valued at.
3 weeks ago. Oh, dude, right?
Can
you imagine? Well, so I guess that's another fantasizing thing too. You think about if you found this, would you hey, you know what? Yeah. You go. Yeah. Who would have thought that having children they'd be this wild?
Sorry.
No, at least that came from, like I said, it came from the good side of your ball sack. It's there's a bunch of good genes there. But yeah, so if you were to find these coins, back to the coins,
man.
Back to the coins.
All right, yeah, back to the coins.
Nothing but praise for your daughter. Back to the coins. Would you keep one?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
I'd probably keep a couple, honestly.
I would probably
like 3 or 4. I'd probably
yeah,
slip.
Yeah, I was just gonna say 4.
Because
Yeah.
you think if it's inestimable, you just have
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah.
It's like winning the lottery, and then you
It
have
is.
3 more times you're going to win the lottery. You just put one on a necklace just to
Yeah.
wear around to the beach, like when you're boogie boarding. What's that? Yeah, this is it's a Roman gold coin. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I will buy your whole family lineage with this coin. Like, don't you?
Think about what those coins have been through.
Well, that's what's interesting is that for it to survive that long. So
That
one thing
long,
when I was a kid, I used to get really excited. Used to find Indian head pennies all the time. Remember that? Indian head pennies. That was a cool thing. And
Yes,
then
it was.
my dad got me started on too, recognizing you. So I think it's either before 1960, dimes were made of silver. And I mean,
Really?
yeah,
I
silver.
didn't know that.
Silver
Maybe
is
I
like it's trade metal. So like my dad has stacks of
Right.
silver. I have stacks of silver. I
That's
remember
dope.
buying like silver dollars like in cases because they go up and down in value
Yeah.
depending on what it is. But it was interesting that as I started working in restaurants, I started noticing more silver dimes that would come through. And one you can usually tell because they're like brighter. They're not like muted matte, sort of like the metallic. They look shiny, but they also make a
Yeah.
different sound. So I'd literally, like, when I'd find them, I'd, like, put them in my tip jar and change out a dime in my tip jar so I could take home these silver dimes. But it's just interesting because it's time, and especially when something as ancient as Roman gold coins. And in this article, they talk about how in the same area, they also found a Roman gold bar. Like, a solid
No
gold
shit.
bar from the Roman era. I don't know.
My God, dude, that's got to be worth.
Dude, well,
I mean, what is that? Isn't that worth just gold?
well, that's the thing is like, how do you like you
Right.
obviously have to you have to see how much it weighs, how pure it is. Archaeologists also unearthed a gold bar inside a jar on the same site, and they don't know the historical cultural significance of the gold bar, but it's from the same era. What's crazy, dude? I mean, like, if I can pull these photos. Oh, let me turn my data on. But dude, these photos of these coins are.
Yeah,
And when we get some video going on, you guys will have to take a look at these because they're fucking beautiful, and it just looks ancient as shit. I mean, look at that.
Holy shit,
Hundreds of them.
that is amazing. Dude.
Can you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That it looks. They almost look fake,
Yeah, it looks like toys, like the
Yeah.
plastic gold coins.
but that's fucking real.
And what's weird is that
Oh, that's so cool.
it's not saying climate change is good because it's not at all. But there was a girl in Sweden.
Where are you going with
Yeah,
this?
dude, more history, more treasure digging.
Right.
I'm a huge fan of Indiana Jones, man. I just want to be
Tell
Harrison
me, man.
Ford.
I want to learn.
I want to
I'm
be
so
Harrison
intrigued.
Ford.
Yeah.
I will get genetic
Harrison Ford?
reconstruction to be Harrison Ford. This girl in Sweden was, I think it's Sweden. She was swimming in a lake, and the lake had gone through a serious drought that year, so it was super low. So she thought she had stumbled upon a stick. So she digs this
a stick.
a stick.
Yeah.
So she digs a stick out.
And she dug
It's
stick
a
up
2,000-year-old Viking sword in a scabbard.
Hold on. 2,000 years old.
Yes, 2,000-year-old Viking sword still in its sheath, in its scabbard, and it's well preserved. She dug this out of the bottom of a muddy lake, like just standing water.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's nutty.
Just out of a muddy fucking
Can you
lake.
imagine what
that
that's-
is so sick.
Wonder what that sword went through.
How
many
did
heads it decapitated? That's so awesome.
How did everything that has happened in life on this planet throughout those 2,000 years not interfere with that, to leave that be there? How did that not get
Exactly,
touched? That
dude.
is incredible.
That is incredible that a piece
Dude.
of earth cannot be touched or manipulated yet. You know what I mean? Like that leaves hope. That's exciting to
Yeah.
find out stories of Earth.
Doesn't it just make you
remaining
want to go
like
dig
that.
for treasure? I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
like-
I wouldn't say dig for treasure, man.
Civil War,
So
the
fascinated.
Frontier
with
Wars.
old fucking historical
Dude,
shit. dude,
How
that
many
still
old
remains.
like tomahawk heads are just buried somewhere? I want to find them. Yeah, they probably scalped a bunch of
Oh,
people.
shit. That's,
Maybe
that's
we
creepy.
deserved it, but I want to find them.
Yeah.
I want to see what they are like.
Man, there's so much history around us. What the cool history around us where we live in Puget Sound is the most of the transportation and shit during the horse
It sounds
times.
dumb because I already feel like you know, but do you like history?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
course
it's
I love
weird
history,
how
man.
I don't think people are very interested in history now.
Why do you think they're not very interested in history? Because I agree, many people are not, and it's puzzling to me that people are not.
It sounds plain to say, but maybe people just think like, oh, this is old. Like it's an old technology, or oh, this is it's the past.
Yeah, but that's how you learn.
That's what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter the age of it. If there's still depth to it, and you can apply it to what timeline you're in. And we live in such a fast-paced environment, dude. Like when people's phones don't load in 30 seconds, they have they have road rage. They basically will take their butter knife at their restaurant and just stab their elderly grandma with it because their Facebook is not refreshing. I mean, that's the type of shit we live in where people are just like, oh, this video is taking a whole 60 seconds to load. It's like, dude, 500 years ago, they could never conceive we would have things like this. Are you kidding me? They would.
I get that mad when I'm trying to watch football and it doesn't load on my phone. I'll be honest.
Thank God they were playing the Raiders. Thank God they were playing. It didn't matter how much it loaded. We smashed them.
Yeah, the Seahawks. That's right.
They played in London. That was cool.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened before?
I don't know. That's a good question.
But doesn't matter because history is
Curveball.
Yeah.
History is fucking dope because we learned from it, man. And it's not only that. Whoa.
Yeah,
Moving
dude.
the table there. Sorry.
Keep your gains
Fucking
down. You had
muscles
some
coming
bang energy. And
Won this new vape.
History, you learn from it, man. And you don't just learn from it, but it repeats itself. To a certain degree. I wouldn't say that it repeats itself, but the human behavior is naturally repeats itself. So, if you can take that and blend it in with what's been altered by law or by the mass majority of people, or the majority of people, making a decision on, the way that something should be, if you can swim past that and look down to the human instinct and the behaviors, it hasn't changed. All the way back from I would say the most that we can relate with being able to look through history, historically speaking, would be to like the early 1900s. People do the same stuff, man. We want to be comfortable. We enjoy work. We do. We enjoy doing things. And what I mean by work is we enjoy being outside, dirt, using our hands. We like food and we like to dance and we like to be entertained, and that's the human nature. And we like family. And so when you can instill fear into that, you can control it. When you can put a fake want or need, you can control it. And really what it comes down to is fear. People are feared to be something or feared to not be something with those personalities I mentioned at the beginning, with either their social network personality or their work personality or their home personality. And that fear is what makes people not be themselves.
What I like is that a lot of the things you hit, I think, are not only wholesome, but I think sort of generically they make good sense in what it means to like have good values.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, so you're talking about family, community, like food, dancing, like all of those things that when humans and civilization were coming together, and one, we started off nomadic. Two, as you started to rotate, people found strength in numbers, so that's how communities began. And then settlements, like once people started settling.
But what happened when the tax collector came?
You know what?
Like why?
Fuck Fat Sheriff John and Robin Hood. I don't care about that fat little fuck.
When I was talking about that earlier, were you thinking of Robin Hood too?
Yeah.
Like the cartoon?
Yeah.
Disney, old 50s.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
so for absolutely, and that began in the whole idea was it's so tough to say where it started because it comes down to this very base belief that somebody recognizes that they're like smart, control, and have power, and what you can do with that, and you can manipulate and use people. That's why I honestly believe,
yeah,
in terms of we can never have like that I'm blanking on the word, but like the perfect unified society where like it's peaceful,
Right.
but everybody gets along and does their part. It's like, no, because the second that somebody thinks that they can like use you and they think they have an advantage, they're going to exploit that and do it. And that's just been proven through history. I mean, look at the Mayans, look at Genghis Khan, look at all this stuff. That's exactly what those people did. Genghis Khan took his prowess in war and his brutality and created an empire. I'll say Caesar did the same thing. Granted, I think Caesar was brutal, but Caesar was smart. He was very, very smart. So I think
that's the human nature for someone to turn. Not okay for if you have a trusting society where there's no cops, right? No cops, and there's no need for it, right? There's no locks on our doors. We don't need it.
But do we need
right.
it?
Right. So that's the question. And you're saying that no matter what, or at least I'm guessing what you're saying is no matter what, there'll always be something that someone who will object to that, who will misbehave, who will steal, who will take advantage, manipulate, control, deceive.
Yeah. And I think part of that is like...
Well, then what does the society do with that person when they do it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
if there is no police.
I think the tough question is like, do we need it? And I think inherently people believe that they do. People can be...
Back in the day, they had the stocks in the middle of the city. If you misbehaved... There was no police. There was no guards. Everyone agreed. The town agreed to put you in put your hands in your head, locked up through a fucking piece of wood.
I think eventually, as we've gone on, people have lost their, I'm not saying self of accountability, but the trusting in what they believe and their faith and their indignation. That's why, it's like, I think a good example, people want to complain about the current president. I don't agree with the current president. But then it's sort of like, okay, so who would you want? There'd be a bunch of conflicting ideas, as opposed to if you were to ask,
I think
like,
he's what America needs.
I think if you were
still himself, who's
if you were going to ask, okay, don't choose somebody that you would want. Almost imagine as if, would you be willing to govern yourself?
Yeah, would you be willing to govern yourself?
So it's almost like if everybody could have themselves be president, but like. Obviously, that's not possible. I'm saying, like, that mindset. Would you be willing to be critical and govern yourself and yet be responsible? And we're just lazy. That's why we give it up to somebody else. And I think that especially, like, as civilization has gone on, that's exactly what we've done. We don't want to take the time to do it. We don't want to have the good qualities and values. I've talked about it before, but, like, the fact that nowadays being, like, a nice, good quality person is, like, an exceptional...
Exceptional.
Exceptional. There we go.
Exceptional.
Exceptional. Yeah. The fact that that's like a top tier standard is being like a good, quality, nice, honest, like all of those good traits, which what we grew up with, like that's what it was to be like a good person. Those are now, like, oh, that's a top tier standard. Like that's uncommon. That shouldn't be that way because that's how we've evolved.
It is how we've evolved, but man, we're not in our natural state. We are domesticated humans.
I'll figure it out. Do it.
Yeah, we are domesticated humans, man. If you think about it, I mean, you don't even have to think about it. We're not in our natural state. This technological, this technological boom that has taken off. It's mind-blowing to think what it would be like with sticks and stones, or at least without the technology around. I mean, okay, what is our power? I mean, there's an interesting theory, man. I was watching this show, and it was talking about bizarre theories about the Egyptians talking about the gods, right, and the Greek gods, and Greek mythology, right, like Medusa and Hercules and Zeus, and these
tales.
Yes. The stories of these beings are supposed to be from they were humans, born and ascended as gods, right? That's
they had to go through some trial. They had to prove
of
themselves.
Of course, they had to prove themselves, and there's a big story in between. But I don't know. My theory is humans. Like what's our role? What can we do? It's like our power is also our curse. It's technology. Where did
Yeah.
technology come from?
Well,
Have you ever thought of where did technology come from? Like, it didn't fucking come from Ben Franklin with a keychain on a fucking kite and Thomas Edison with a light bulb. That's not where technology
it was a key.
came from.
It wasn't a keychain. It wasn't some like boondog.
Sorry, Austin. Think about it, man. Think about it, though. Have you thought of where technology came from? Think about. Okay, well, my point.
You're
is,
suggesting that it comes
hundreds-
from outside source, like aliens.
I don't know.
Say
Maybe.
it. Just
No, I'm
fucking-
not. I don't
just
actually
fucking
don't think
say
it came
it.
from an outside source.
Say it.
I don't think it came from an outside source.
So it's not from aliens.
I think it began at a planned time. Sure, maybe from an outside source, but I think mainly from here. Controlled. It's
Say it.
controlled, man. I'm not.
Say
You're
it.
looking at me like you want me to
Say
say
it.
something.
Just say alien.
Think about it, dude. Humans have gone hundreds of years. Okay, imagine history. We're talking about the change in history, right?
Yeah.
You love history. We're looking at how many things change within a certain
It's not
time.
something I've thought about for a long time in terms of like how technology began. I think
But look-
like how rapidly it's changed freaks me out, and it does bring to speculation like where the fuck did this whole snowball start for
Right,
sure.
But look, where did the snowball start? But if you look at history, what happened between the year? Look at how much changed. I mean, between the year 400 AD to 900 AD. Okay, look at how much changed from 1340 to 1530. Then look how much changed from 1850 to
now.
1950.
Yeah, a lot.
You know what I mean? Like,
Huge leaps.
more than what changed in the last 1,000 years before 1850.
Yeah.
So the change is not just quadrupling and multiplying and snowball affecting like you said, but that's what happened when technology started. The human state, our natural state is changing now. Our natural state used to be without technology, right? Now it's changing because you're born in technology. You're born in a hospital around technology. And the human body has been doing that for the last, 200 years?
Well, yeah. Now we're getting acclimated to all these things. I think
Yeah.
I think one thing too is it's a little note I made when we were briefly now just talking about this, but like the reason we are so lazy is due to the age of technology we are born into. So therefore, like the power to want to dictate and make serious decisions for ourselves is hindered. Not only hindered, but I think we feel it's just secondary as opposed to back in the day. You know, like deciding where you were going to live next season greatly affected your family. If you had a family, like, would you have a good place to grow crops? Can you be sustainable? Can you do
Will
this?
you be able to survive during the winter?
Yeah, and now here we are where people are just like, yeah, dude, like, your vote doesn't matter, man, so just sit here, smoke this bowl, and let's watch this documentary about how, like, we just need to stop all this violence, dude. Like, that's the laziest of the lazy. Like, you're literally watching things that get your brain going, and then you're just like,
And you do
but
fucking nothing with it.
I'm going to sit here, and I'm still going to smoke weed and think about it. Dude, I'm not banging on people that smoke pot. Smoke all the pot you want. People do it. Well, I don't give a shit. I'm just saying be proactive about things in your life.
Absolutely.
But like you're saying, technology for how rapidly advanced is scary. And how rapidly I think it subdued us to be basically vegetables is scary.
Exactly. That's our natural state now, man. That's what I'm saying. And, there's genetic history. Genetic history exists, man. I mean, where our genes can remember something that our fucking ancestors did hundreds of years ago. Just naturally speaking, okay? That's, I would like to think of an example right now, but I can't. But regardless, as time goes on with technology existing, changing our natural state, the natural state is going to be a fucking vegetable. You know what I mean? Surrounded by technology. Look at that movie. What's it called? I saw it multiple times in theaters. WALL-E. Have you seen WALL-E?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
That's
Everybody's
pretty
fat
possible.
and like
That's
hoverboard
pretty possible. I love
wheelchairs,
that movie, man.
eating
It's a
gray
good
goo.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good like satire on humanity. Because,
Yeah.
dude, this was fucking 20 years ago, early 90s. You'd see many of the people I saw in grocery stores that were in those roll around wheelchairs. They looked like disabled vets. They were missing a limb.
Yeah.
Now all you see is fat people.
Yeah.
Everywhere is fat people.
Yeah.
Disabled parking is fat people. It's gross.
It is gross.
I'm not having a hatred towards fat people.
And
it's disgusting to see
but
how. I mean, and dude,
it's sad to see
it doesn't
that's
help
what's
either
happened
that
towards
I
society.
think that it almost becomes a stigma for people to be like, oh, you got to love the body you're in. Love the body you're in. You're not supposed to be like everybody else. The technology, social media, the public outlook.
So take care of it. Just like if you love your fucking car, you take care of your car.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that there's so much convoluted information where people feel like they need to be one standard or the other. I go to the gym frequently. It's astounding to me to see how many people dress up to go to the gym to get that attention because they want to show off their body. And, I can't sit there and be like, oh, yeah, well, that's rude of you to do that. No, like you worked for it. But that's the world we live in is they're putting themselves on pedestals to be like, look at how I look. And then people go, oh, I want to be like that. It's like, no, her body's totally different than yours. Like,
Right.
girl,
But it
you're
could
like
be- it could be
6'3". You got the
motivating.
bones of a Viking. There's no way you're going to be that petite 5'5", like blonde girl with that plumpy little butt. No, you could give birth 8 times and barely feel it. Like, you're
Right.
meant to rip skulls apart, and you should embrace that and do that. But then the opposite on the spectrum is that people go like, oh, yeah,
could be motivating.
embrace your body. And then people are just like, yeah, embrace your body. I eat a Big Mac 5 times a day. Embrace the body. Love the one you have. It's like, no, that's fucking wrong, too. Like,
Yeah.
now you're preaching to the bad side of it also, where you're telling people, like, be something totally different than what you are. And then you're saying, yeah, be yourself, but be okay with being lazy as shit and not being healthy.
Right.
And the hardest thing for people to do is find that balance and actually fucking do it. You know why? Because it's tough. Dude, my body is made
It
by
is
beer.
tough.
I drink probably 3 or 4 pints a day. But you know what I also do? I
Nice.
eat really fucking healthy.
Yeah.
I like vegetables, fruit. I have lean proteins. I make sure, just like when I work out, I switch everything up. Because if you eat the same thing over and over again, you plateau. You learned about
That's
that
true.
from Coach McCain,
Yeah.
working out like, drink this protein shake. Let's do bench press. Solvic. Solvic. Shit your pants again. Yeah. Like, saw him do that on the squat. It was horrific. He shat his shorts. But,
Holy shit.
yeah, dude. The point is that you have to. Yeah, it was gnarly. It was gross. Same thing. Your nose shouldn't bleed when you deadlift, and you shouldn't shit your pants if you're squatting. That's how you know you're pushing your body too hard. Regardless, you need to focus. Like, obviously, have cognizance of what you're putting into your body and how it feels, and not only that, but you need to like switch it up a little bit. Because you eat the same shit over and over again, you get used to it. So I think it's hard for people to get that balance. It's hard work. It's not fun. Like, trust me, I like going to the gym, but the main thing that I go to the gym for is that my job is super physical, and my job can be very mentally stressful. And so the best way for me to like mentally decompress is to go work out. I don't want to do it after a 10 or 12 hour long work day, after a very physical work day. I don't want to fucking do it, but I know it's going to be better for me. And I know if I do that, it's just going to help my mind out. You release those endorphins, those chemicals in your brain when you work out. Like, there's benefits to it.
You're motivating me, boy.
Oh, dude, it's just, there's a lot of good things that come from it. And the hardest thing is, dude, Alex Bowman. You seen Alex Bowman on Instagram?
No.
I know you're not really on the Insta. That's my
Yeah.
only form of social media. Bowman is like a bodybuilder.
PacX.
He's huge.
Yeah.
He is but here's one thing I got to give to him is that from where he started to where he is now, he was focused and driven on it. And I will say,
He
I
was.
don't think he's pompous about it. For him, it's his like competition. Like, this is what he wants to do and to find himself.
Yeah.
As.
Yeah, totally. I would agree
And
with that.
it was probably from another bodybuilder, probably from Sylvester Stallone, like, but he said it can either be one day or it can be day one. And I think that's very true. Is you have to make it up in your mind to be like, are you going to start this another day, or are you just going to be like, you know what, today is my ground. This day is, ground zero, day one.
I
And
like that.
Go
It
up
can be
from
one
there.
day or it can be day one.
So,
That's good. I like that, man.
people fucking challenge yourself in life, please.
Challenge
It'll bring you
yourself.
good things.
Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 24. 24. It's late. We're tired. I'm tired. I'm speaking for myself. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm fucking ready to go. Liz gonna go to bed.
Yeah, I got half open eyes.
Yeah.
But tune in for next episode next week. I can't even belt it best. Yeah, we'll see you then. Anyways, well, what's coming up? I have an agenda written out. It's pretty interesting. We'll talk about a number. It's kind of conspiracy type. Okay, so it's a mix of conspiracy along with spiritual. It's the number 3.
No.
Yeah?
I popped a weird button right now.
Yeah.
I have to shift.
You moved the table.
Well, I didn't.
Anyways,
I barely moved my boxes, but you're right.
No, that's anyways, let's just what's on my neck. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is PacX. Check us out at PacXpodcast.com. You can also hit us up on Instagram at PacXpod.
PacX Pod on Insta.
PacXpod on Insta. Oh, and you can send us an email at pacificexperience@gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for episode 25.
See you on Tuesday, bitches.
Later.